Look at that. Look at that. April 1st. We switched over to summertime now. Ain't that swell? I'm like super far away. That's great, man. Hyper wide. Like a little tiny pixel in the distance. So yeah, I was riding with Stefan. Stefan is a Swedish name. We pronounce it Stefan. But Stefan. Man. Anyway, he said it would be really cool if you can go and do a snow ride. And I'm like, okay. But then I got this idea. We got a few toasty days now, for like 3 days, then we're gonna go back to cold. But, you know, snow does tend to linger. And since my bearings are shot on the Lynx anyway, let's see what this turns into. There's a bunch of people passing by. Oh God. Oh God. I got some snow on my pedal. I just got stuck in the snow there. Not much happening. Oh boy, that was difficult. What's actually more difficult is this green stuff here. It squishes everywhere. Oh man. Almost 10,000 kilometers on my Lynx after almost 8,000. I was out riding on a cold winter day, and it was one of those bike paths, and there was like saltwater solution on it. And since I was ripping and maybe I hit a few puddles, then yeah, there was some saltwater intrusion there, so my bearings make noise. I put maybe a couple of thousand kilometers on them since then, and they make the same noise, maybe a tiny bit louder. I did change to the Shinko Ultra Naughty, and yeah, it's a different ride. I wouldn't say that my next one will be a Kenda, let's put it that way. I like the Kenda. It was a nice tire, it was a good all-round tire. This one's a lot of fun for carving and so on. Potentially it has more grip if you run it at lower tire pressure. The carcass isn't as wide as the Kenda and the Shinko, and it's a bit higher. Okay, so they cleared all the snow out of this section at least. Right now I'm running the standard footlocks as well. Ronnie did print some nice ones for me that say Mike on the side, which are super cool and I appreciate. Oh man, oh man, oh man. Oh, that's just terrible. Me and downhills. And cut. I am an embarrassment. Look at this. Oh man. I just don't feel like it today. So because of the profile of the Shinko, it has a smaller contact patch when riding, unless you ride it at lower PSI, which you can, since it's a stiffer, harder tire. You know, it's made for tubeless shenanigans. For those of you who fear that the tube is going to get torn off, which seems to be more and more common. Oh man, oh man. So This is Hammarby Hill. There's the other one, Flotsbro. And that one's just as snowy, but you know, the snow isn't going to be amazing now. We'll still get to like 0 degrees to freezing temps, like maybe very late at night or early in the morning. This morning it was +2°C. So today is going to be maybe +14. And we can get some outdoor workout going on. Ooh, giant rock. Oh. Amazing. Super grippy wood chips. Well, I've gotten up here, so I might as well show you guys the view. It all kind of depends on where you stand. There we go, much better. And we got this green stuff. So this is also, you know, if you want to go skiing or snowboarding, or you want to ride down this hill and die and squish all over the place, then you can do that. There's something for everyone. Have options. I'll tell you about the Lynx in a minute. Just gonna show you this little gravity down section and how the tire behaves. In the last weekends, a couple of weekends, we've been riding around in forests, man. Oh, some of those trails, and it just, my goal was for us to sort of get lost, you know, but then you kind of hope that there will be some good trails, but there are some rocks here and there and some roots, and then some areas get very difficult to navigate. And the Christopher has a Sherman L, and he's got the street tire, the TNT street tire. I believe it's a TNT. It's really good, you know, the tubeless one. And he has actually it installed tubeless from the factory, and it's great, man. It's a really nice ride. You know, Roger has spoken quite a lot about it. One thing did happen with that tire. We were riding, we were doing like rocks and stuff like that. I don't know if we ran through like a bunch of glass or something, but the tire was sort of like splitting, you know. So we went and bought some super glue and glued those little cracks together, and there you go. Good as new, born again virgin, all done. So, you know, snow is a lot of fun to drift and stuff like that. It can be a bit unpredictable. Something I really like riding on is sand, though. And sand can vary in quality. You know, there's like super deep sand that is hard to navigate through. And then there is compacted sand that is a little too easy to navigate through. I'll tell you this, when it comes to the preferred workout for Swedes is running, it seems. So let's go over to a sand pit then. That was a lame date. My my bell is not on my finger properly. So this group is called Nam Nam Bulu. So last year I was listening a lot to Diorama. Started with Diary of Dreams. Leave it to me to talk when there's traffic. But anyway, when I listen to Nam Nam Bulu, I can't stop thinking of Kermit the Frog. Something about the voice. Saw a few cops out earlier. I got stopped by the police again in August. I was on the patent. I was speeding. Oh boy, oh boy. I'll save that story for the next episode. Just wanted to reconnect a little. This is not an April Fool's. And wanted to tell you my thoughts about the Lynx. Now that I almost have 10,000 kilometers on it. I mean, I would still say that it's the #1 wheel to get. Talking in traffic. overexposed back there, man. Terrible. We like speeding there. Come out and turn. It usually turns so wide. He did good, but man, I gotta remember that I'm filming, you know, so still gotta focus on the stuff.
Do you expect that I'd be standing here and watch him? Your eyes are telling stories that I can't neglect. They might be telling every time how much he loves you, and you are blind enough to trust in what he...
So I'm happy with the config and all. Braking is a bit weak if you're like really there, but that's all posture.
Exactly that your life's a mess.
There are some times when you're braking, you know, and even though I ride a soft mode and I use acceleration assist, and I use the crawl-lev feature, the quick leveling. Talk more about those features in a bit. You know, I've always been a bit of a softer rider, but when you're going fast and you're fighting wind and you're leaning forward and your knees are in the front and so on because you're not a shin pusher. And it's a long way back, man. It's a long way back. I did have the thicker front pads on the Lynx, but I moved them to the EXM because it requires a bit more cushion. It's got more cushion for the cushion. It's a super challenging gravel section that we were fooling around with last year. man. Oh no, and I got this hoodie on. It's gonna be another one of those sweaty days, man. Ooh-wee. There you go. That's what that sounds like. But that's easily fixed.
The time we spent just waiting, Miss Piggy.
That's one of those long ones that you'll never guess right. Now, now, now. You're on the dance floor waiting for it to drop. Oh man. I talked through it. There's a cool fella here lying down on the fence listening to music. We'll do some drifting. It was more like a sand kind. No, I won't be that guy. I got plenty of other good sand to ride in. He was like really enjoying life, you know. I don't want to get in the way of anyone enjoying life. Talking while filming makes my teeth dry. People are gonna think I'm on drugs. Took some amphetamine and went out riding. Oh yeah, listening to music. Oh yeah, yeah. Good song, man. Good song. Alright, my top speed was 70.9 fake kilometers, so you can take away like 5% from that on the Shinko. I'm at 145.8 potato volts, as you can see there, and that's showing the battery at around 80% because the way I set darkness spot for battery is 4.2 volts is 100% and 3.3 volts is 0%, because then I know where I have performance. So this is how much performance I have left. I don't need to know that I can crawl home. Thank you. I know that I can crawl home. I just want to know how much performance percent I have left to zero. So that will be at 118.8, something like that, which I still, you know, the Lynx actually gets a bit slowish before 100. When you hit like 130 volts and start getting under that, it just starts sagging quite a lot. And since it's a high torque wheel and with field weakening, you know, then it really, you will notice the discharge curve. So when you're having drinks with friends and you want to get a glass that's shaped like this, and then Liebherr will say that the top half is 50% and the bottom half is 50%. Dibs on the top half then, you know. But darkness spot does support, let's see the exact term, the battery discharge curve, right? Under battery correction, you just use the discharge curve. Turn that on, man, because if you think that down to 50% without the discharge curve you're gonna get 30 miles, and then you think you're gonna get 30 miles back, no. A lot of people say that this wheel has a lift speed of 125. I don't know what's wrong here with the world. We're gonna spin it out and scare some dogs. And mind you, it's not at full. 129.8. I weigh 155 pounds naked. I got the 62 pounder. It's got a progressive spring, right? It's the same level as the Sherman S. The Pattern is one step lighter on the old iteration. I don't know about the Pattern S, right? I still have my Pattern. It's a very, very fun wheel. It's tuned differently. It's more responsive. Doesn't have the assist in the same way, but just like feels like a pure, solid, powerful package. I do have a flat on it, so I've just been sticking to the Lynx, the EX30, and my baby EXN with one bad battery pack. More about that in another episode. Yeah, so much has happened, man. So as you can see, I have a lot to tell, and I'm telling it all at the same time, and then I'm gonna have to loop it back and tie it all up. So at full, the Lynx has a lift speed of 135, but that's capped also, so it's not really showing all the information. It's interesting that I got 129 now. So I don't know if they reduced what's being capped. I guess I can see that by looking at the PWM and seeing if there's like a chunk that is a few seconds long. From 52 to 58, so for like 6 seconds it was at 100% PWM, and we'll see for how many seconds it was at that speed as well. From 12:15, not 6 seconds, 600ths, 12:15, yeah, to 100ths of a second it was 127, then 129. Then it slowed down, then it just died somewhere there, right? So yeah, speed wise it doesn't look like it's truncating information, but PWM wise it does look like it's truncating information. So the PWM has been hell, and to ride safe on this wheel it's a bit tricky because it's very easy to end up riding too slow. So the internal PWM alarm, that is set at around 83.2%, and you can't change that. That's just hard-coded. That's when the wheel will beep, and it will just beep. It won't save you or anything like that. For it to save you, you will have to enable dynamic tilt back, which is called OS tilt back, and that is the PWM tilt back, and that you can set, so that is user adjustable. If you set it to 70% or 80%, you'll end up going too slow because there's something about how the PWM is reporting that it's compressing. So first, like when you're doing like 30 miles an hour, your PWM is going to be like, hey, whoa, you know, I get better PWM results on my EXN. And then as you start going faster and faster and faster, then it sort of like starts compressing. So like for every mile an hour, it will like move less than 1% or something. So you can basically do 8 miles an hour more and you'll get like 8% PWM more, but that's not the way it was scaling at the beginning. So at the beginning it was inflated, and then it starts compressing, and then it stops compressing somewhere around 85, and then when it gets to 100 it just throws away whatever data there is over 100 as well. So it's hard to see. You can't correct it because you can't get 110. You can't say that you want 10% correction because it's not reporting 110. I said reporting. The camera heard recording and it stopped recording. Damn, I'm stupid as a rock, ain't I? So you can't correct it, but there has been some modification to the firmware and how DarknessBot reads data and so on. So I set my vibration alert at 80%. So then I have it buzzing here. I have the dynamic tilt back set to 86% because I will already have the cue that I'm riding on vibration. I will also have the cue that I am riding on the beeps at the 83%, and then I know that tilt back is there. If I don't hear any of that, you know, or if I am on amphetamine and riding, then hopefully the tilt back will save me. You know, we played around with the tilt back last year at like 70% or 80% even, and it was like forcing us to do like 43 miles an hour, around 70 kilometers an hour, and that's not why we got this wheel, man. We got this wheel because want to You want to go to the moon. So the weight is great, the suspension is great, the customizability is great. I'm not thrilled that the firmware turns the wheel off after 15 minutes, you know, but you will learn to live with that and accept that. The mudguard, the kickstand actually, is a bit long. So Ronnie 3D printed one for me, and it's a bit soft, you know, but it's there to protect the mudguard. And then my mudguard has an extender on it, because otherwise you're just spraying stuff all over the damn place. No dents or anything like that on the rim. The tire was easy enough to install. Haven't had any major problem with flats or anything like that. And the headlight was faulty. No, it's not even the headlight. The motherboard wants the light to always be on. But Ronnie had this, look at that, yellow and white. So I can be a nice guy and I can meet people where they meet me. Because that's how we do it here in Sweden. Everybody just thinks about themselves and everybody just cares about themselves. So then you just might as well blind everyone, and you get these beautiful dramatic salutes. You get these people like, don't look directly into it. Hey Siri, play The Witch, Nordica Remix.
Now playing The Witch, Nordica Remix by La Ange de la Nuit on Apple Music.
Les Anges de la Nuit.
Whispers to my ear, a sign across her eyes. She has to say goodbye with tears. Here comes the witch. Our sins will rule a world so cruel. Across the waves, you keep me cool. Through these white times, don't be a fool. Dying through the maze of eternal rule. World so cruel. Across the waves, you keep me cool.
We call that a high side.
She's full of mystery, her life a misery. A step onto the right, she scares us with a fight with fear.
The pedals did get a bit stuck, so I had to spray them with oil. They're still a bit sticky, but it's all good. You don't have to remove the pedals to swap tire. Just have to disassemble one side. Suspension requires some tuning. 62 pounds is good for me, it's good for my weight. If you're going for a Sherman L and you weigh as much as me, then go one step heavier, because the wheel is heavier, you know, so it's gonna clunk down. And the pedal grip is no, it's bad. So I got these 3D printed covers, pedal covers. And then you just put the grub screws in there and fiddle diddle, put some double-sided tape on, good to go, man. So now they're super grippy, now they're like one of the best pedals out there. And I have the ones with a wedge on the front for my giant shoes, so that I have contact with everything and don't have my witch shoes pointing up and floating in the air where I would have wanted grip. It sort of makes it a bit harder to accelerate the wheel, but since I did change to the Shinko, I ended up tilting my wheel forward 1 or 2 degrees because it just felt not as easy to get it going. The Shinko has a bit of a larger diameter. It's a bit thinner if you look at the actual sidewall, so the distance sidewall to sidewall is, the Shinko is thinner than the Kenda, but it's also a bit higher, but not for long because this tire wears out fast. So I would say it's like a really, really good street tire, and I guess it can potentially handle wet routes a bit better than the Kenda. I guess you'd have to compare fresh to fresh and then also see what is a reasonable PSI, because the profile, man, it just got a pointier profile. So I'm super happy with it. Almost 10,000 fake kilometers on it. Just like my EX30, it's also almost got 10,000 fake kilometers on it, but those are more fake. I would say the Lynx is a 50 mile an hour wheel with 50 miles of range. That's it. You can go a little over 50 miles an hour, but you're pushing into beeps, and you know, my EXN bearings got bad, my EX30 bearings got bad, so what you gonna do? Simon swapped out the bearings for me on both the EXN and the EX30. They've been great since, because now they're SKF bearings. So I love that this wheel is super strong. It's one of the strongest wheels on the market. They had trouble measuring the InMotion V14 because it just ended up losing traction. But I would say, you know, that this is the strongest wheel on the market. Maybe if they do some pull tests on the X-Way, who knows? And then after that comes the patent. And the patent is, you know, for the voltage and the tire diameter, the patent is faster than the Lynx for the voltage and tire diameter. And both wheels are slow without field weakening. They're both very high torque wheels. And then you have field weakening, so you can go faster at the high end, you know. Field weakening, flux weakening. So what we have for torque is the grip on the magnets. And then we get that old thing of skipping through magnets on some wheels. Which is related to motor winding, phase amp limitations. Very rarely there will be a battery limitation. And magnet width matters. And then you have to knock that out to allow the wheel to flow more freely without the magnets slowing it down. And that's where you have flux weakening. You create a field that will give you a 15% speed increase, and most likely a 15% torque decrease. So if you're doing high torque stuff at 40 miles an hour, let me know. So the fastest I've gone on this wheel is 83.5 or 83.7 kilometers an hour wheel reported. And the fastest I've gone on the patent is 75 wheel reported. I did back off the beeps immediately on this, and on the patent I sort of like, yeah, hit 88% PWM, you know. They're fast enough, you know. It's just some people ride in different scenarios and in different ways. They're out there racing cars and stuff like that and on freeways, so then I understand, you know, that you want a very, very fast wheel so that you can pretend that you're competing with the car. But you're always at the mercy of cars, you know. What's holding them back is the law. And a lot of us CUC riders think that we're above the law or outside of the law. Just the fact that we ride these wheels here in Sweden, you know, they are legal by nature. But it doesn't mean you have to do all the other illegal stuff that you can. So this wheel is great. So this wheel is great at technical trails. I would say the patent is a bit superior. It would be nice if my patent had progressive springs. That's not a huge issue when doing technical off-road, but there will be some jumps or some drops in particular where, you know, I have oil leaking from my patent. There has been some bottoming out there. A little technical section over there. It's a very simple section, but we'll go take a lookie. So you can go over a lot of stuff that you couldn't go up before. So I have to like navigate around it. Now it's like, oh no, a rock, you know. In many scenarios I would say that it's better to go over than around, because otherwise you'll be pedal clipping to the side and that sucks. Then you're just going to go down instantly. It's very, very hard to save that. So that's not really, if you pedal clip a rock that's to the side of you, then you're gonna go down, and it's not a skill issue. It's just you don't bad. But if you do go over rocks and roots and stuff like that, then we can say that that's a skill issue, and you can practice and you can get good at that. But I don't think you can get good at recovering from a side clip. Speaking of clipping to the side, Tio was riding his Sherman S yesterday, and he did a turn. I've seen him ride, you know, he's a very talented young fella. So he did a turn, and then a couple of seconds later the wheel cut off. You know, a lot of people think that this should happen instantly. You can think what you want to think. Let's find out.
Which
Other words that rhyme.
through these wild times, don't be a fool. Dying through the maze of eternal rule.
An April Fool. Damn, those Mickey Mouse lyrics get me, man. That group is the singer is from Les Anges de la Nuit, and the guys that are added the spice to the music, because this has like 6 or 7 remixes, is Nordica. And Nordica is a kick-ass dark wave group, Mexican. The singer died in August, man. But they were super happy that they were like Sweden was their top country last year. I wonder why. This tire wants to keep a little upright, a bit-ish, so gives it a bit of a floaty feel when you're doing pendulums and stuff like that. I didn't install it straight though, so it's got a little thing there, and I was thinking, man, should I reseat it? Because the whole wheel pulls to the right, so I have to be a bit more heavy on my left foot, which is my non-dominant foot. But hey, then I guess I'll even out my dominance. Otherwise I tend to ride dominantly on my right leg, and the left is there like an accessory. But yeah, you know, it makes it a little bit more exciting. I rarely go faster than 45, you know. Most days I will like touch 45 miles an hour, 70-ish kilometers an hour, and yeah, and then it's just like, okay, great. There are some long straights though out there, but in the city You know, it's like a 20-mile-an-hour limit, and I've been doing 30-35 miles an hour there, and yeah, getting stopped by cops and stuff. That's a bad vibe. But you know, since we're already doing something illegal, might as well go to the store and steal some chocolate and then go eat a stolen donut in front of the cops while ripping past them at 40 miles an hour on a 20-mile-an-hour road close to a school.
So cruel across the waves.